Hey guys, Jeremy Stover back here. I'm going to be doing another tutorial on some Angular stuff. Before I did, what was it? Oh, it was Angular-Google-Maps. It was just a small directed tutorial. Now I'm going to go into something a little bit larger, but I will be moving fairly quickly, so I'll give you some prerequisites that I'm not going to cover, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a really quick, easy application in Ionic, which is basically a very nice bridge between PhoneGap and Angular. So obviously Angular can sit on top of PhoneGap, uh, but Ionic gives you really nice, it handles touch way better. It gets your frame rate up really, really high without having to worry about anything, handles routing in a way that works really well with mobile apps, etc. And it has a whole bunch of different functionality. So it's basically just like an AngularJS / CSS framework for PhoneGap. And it works beautifully, and we're about to run through. And to be completely honest with you, it doesn't necessarily even have to be in PhoneGap. You can build entire websites with this, but we are not going to be doing that today. We're going to build an Android application, and I'm going to show you how. Woot. So first couple of things you're going to need, I'm just going to list them out here. You have to have npm installed along with grunt. Most likely Bower. I'm not sure what other things I'm going to be pulling in, but let's just say you need Bower. You have to have Cordova plus PhoneGap. And then you need to have the Ionic Yo creator. So it's actually Yo Ionic. Yo Ionic. So basically just a Yeoman generator for Ionic applications. And I'm going to show you how to use that. I am specifically talking about this last one, number 5, the Yo Ionic. Which will encapsulate everything else. These are just the tools that we'll be using to make it possible, and I'll show you guys how to build out and send these things to your Android devices. I do not have an iPhone. I am running on a Nexus 5, or at least not here. I have some in my office, but for now this will work. So first thing you want to do is pull up your Chrome browser, and oh, look at this. This is the best Chrome plugin in the world. It is called Panda. You get Dribble and then Hacker News on the left. It's perfect if you are a web developer / designer, and again, that's called Panda. You can just like Google search it or something. Oh, and they show you like your Chrome apps and whatever. Okay, back to what we were doing. Is Yo Ionic. It's going to be Digonetto. I don't know how to actually pronounce that, but generator-ionic, and that is github.com/digonetto/generator-ionic. And all you're going to do is come down here and do the npm install-g generator-ionic, which I've already done that, but I'll do it again really quick. Pull up my terminal. Clear. If you can see, I am just in a directory that I created called Ionic Toot. So what I'll do is I'll do npm install-g generator-ionic. Done that, bam, and had a bunch of stuff. I do not have the permissions set up in npm correctly, so I'm just going to run sudo bang bang. I did not type that in correctly. So I did a sudo npm install-g generator ionic. I cannot talk today. But that's going to grab everything we need. It's not really doing anything. It's just checking to make sure I have all the dependencies because I've already installed it once. And then after we're done with that, I've actually already done this. So you're basically just making the directory and then jumping into it. And then we're about to run Yo Ionic in one moment. So now that we're in here, we can run Yo Ionic. Remember, that's like the Yeoman, how to start a Yo generator, and then the name of the generator is Ionic. Bam. you're going to see that I'm going to have to do one more thing. We are not using Sass, or at least I'm not using Sass because I don't really like Ruby that much. Sorry, guys. I know Sass is fantastic. It's just not my favorite thing in the world. Choose no. We are not going to be using any of this other stuff, but with the Ionic generator, brings in the Cordova project or project files for the network, splash screen, battery status, etc., etc., etc. I'll just scroll through. Yeah, you guys will see all this when you are done, but we're just going to have the two that it comes with normally, which is the console and device, which later on you'll be able to use to help debug. But that's it. Press enter. We are going to do a, let's say, let's do tabs. Oh, no, side menu. Side menu is pretty cool. Or, you know, the user intro. User intro is the only one that I haven't done yet, so I'm going to do that one. Pull in all the stuff, download images, download whatever it needs. And then we'll do a grunt serve. If you remember from before, grunt serve starts a node server with all the required everything. It's going to fail a couple times at the end. I'll just have to do another npm install, or sudo npm install, because my permissions are all jacked. I'll probably cut this out. Okay, and then npm install. Sorry for that. Just make sure I have Cordova, which is the only thing it failed to download. It always fails to download Cordova for some reason. But when I do the npm install again, it runs perfectly fine. After that's all done, bam. All right, now we can do grunt serve. Bam. Do I have anything else running? No. Okay. And for the rest of this tutorial, we are going to be emulating my Nexus 5. So what you can do is, if you go into anything besides console, so actually console will work, any one of these tabs, doesn't really matter. I usually stick with sources, and then click right here. You'll see the little arrow, or wait, no, not right there. Crap. I don't remember how to get to that specifically. Oh no, that was it. Okay, I'm not going crazy. Yeah, click the arrow with the lines, and it'll pull up this secondary console / whatever. And there's an emulation tab in there, and this is only for Google Chrome. And then you can select any one of a bunch of different devices, and I believe it does its best to find the rendering engine, or to match the rendering engine. But what it really does is get the screen size and get the touch controls correct. So what we do is drop that back down, and this is, let's see. This is just a little bit bigger than my actual Nexus screen size. So, as you can see, this is what's generated with the user intro template. You can skip this and next, start my app, bam. Okay, so that's honestly, like, if you remember anything or if you know anything about Angular after that, it's really easy to get started. But we're gonna create an actual page or a couple pages and use a couple of their elements throughout. So one thing that after this intro. So what you want to do is go to ionicframework.com and /docs. All right, we're going to stick inside of the CSS components for now, but they have like the CSS components, the JavaScript components, and then all this other cool stuff. But we're going to stick in here because this is enough to keep you busy if you're trying or trying to learn everything. But this is honestly friggin' awesome. Like, if you guys can see the phone, I'm sure you can see the phone, but it basically, as you're scrolling through, it changes the demo that's inside of the phone. It's beautiful. So first thing we're going to need to do is let's jump into Sublime Text. Let's go to project, add folder to project. Jump back, I was working on another project, which seems to be all I do these days. and I called that Ionic toot, which is up here. There we go. Add that one to the add that one to the project. All right, so we're going to kill this and save. All right, so right now we're going to jump into. All right, let's just take a look at how Ionic builds this. So the way that PhoneGap works is it needs a www directory, and then it compiles this www directory into the actual platform. So that reminds me, I need to add platforms, but we'll do that in a second. But Angular kind of likes to sit inside of an app directory, so it can have it index and have it do all of its other things. So as you can see, this is much larger than this www. So it compiles all of this whenever you actually run put it through Cordova. It'll compile it all to this, and then Cordova will compile from here. So it just simplifies things, mashes it all together. But from here, we can take a look at our template. We have the intro, and it's basically just using what? Slides. Yeah, so we have the navigation, and then slide. Yeah. So 3 slides, as we saw, I'm sure. Let's create another one really quick, just to make sure. Let's create 2. Scoop. Scoop. Save that out. That's not where we're going to go. Ionic 2. Awesome. Questions? Any questions? Poop. Any questions? Scoop. Perfect. As you remember, we were using grunt with live reload, so everything just auto-populates, or auto-refreshes, which is freaking awesome. Okay, so let's jump into... Oh, wait. Something's wrong. Okay, let's see what we did. I already borked it. Start using my app. Oh, there we go. How many are there? 4? I added 2. Next. That's weird. Yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine. Okay, perfect. We get a little weird bug here where you can't hit next. But, start using my app next. Oh, there we go, not equal 4. Meaning, okay, that was fine. Next, start using my app, okay. All right, that was easy. All right, like I said, this is my first time using the slides also, so we're just gonna move on. Let's grab main.html. Let's just get a space there. All right, so we are going to get rid of this entire button. Just gonna hide it really quick. So if you remember what I was saying earlier, when Ionic Ionic handles routing, and it handles views and everything like that, so it can optimize it for each phone. And this is how it does it. You basically just define your views here, and it places them all absolutely on the page, and then it handles the JavaScript and CSS to move everything around really sexy. What kind of things do we want in our app, guys? Let's jump in here, and let's do cards. Cards are always sexy. So we're going to. Here we go. This one is one of my favorites. Copy, paste, but it's not going to actually do anything because there are no images. Well, that wasn't expected. Read slide, skip intro. Okay, so it's not going to show anything. We need to get some images in there, but I know exactly what we're building. We're going to build a dribble viewer. So if you go to Dribble API. So a bunch of different Angular tutorials use the Dribble API, and it is fantastic. Like, it is really easy to use. So we are going to just, let's grab the popular tag. I'll give you the most shots everyone. Shots popular. simple bits. No, I could just, you know, find. There we go. Okay, shots popular. I passed by that already and just ignored it. All right, so we are going to jump to our scripts, controllers, and Ionic does things not the really normal way. You can very obviously create new controllers and things like that, or create a new controller file. I'm not doing that right now. I'm just going to stick with the way that Ionic does it, which is declare all the controllers in one thingamajig. So right now we have, all right, so this is the intro controller. Okay, yeah, it's right in front of my face. And this is actually where we're going to be pulling in some stuff. So this is really meant for a service, so disregard my bad practice. I'm just trying to get things into the page. So we're going to pull in HTTP and Q. This is a very, very good instance of, or this is going to be good practice in hitting APIs, and I'll show you some of the better ways to do that. So state got good. This is, we don't need this anymore. In fact, we're going to X it out. It's going to create an init function that does nothing right now, and we will call that right at the bottom of this. So scope.get images equals function. I'm not really going to go into how promises work, but I will be using a promise for this function. So we're going to do var defer equals cache q dot defer, which is a function, and we're going to return defer dot promise, which is not a function, it is an object, which I guess an object technically is a function also. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do http.jsonp. Okay, so the Dribble API is very, very, very new, and it has a lot of issues with cross-origin requests. So one way to get around that is to do JSON with padding. So you're sending these things back and forth with this padded JSON file, so it doesn't freak out when you're sending it JavaScript, because a lot of web security, et cetera, doesn't like when you send JavaScript files, especially if it hasn't been built to accept core, like cross-origin. So JSONP is the only way to handle that, and we're going to throw this. Oh crap! We're going to throw that in there. So http.jsonp, the address is that, and we need to change or add question mark callback equals JSONP. Oh wait, JSON underscore callback. I believe that is it. And then what we can do is wrap this in success, which is a function with one response. It doesn't have any status or anything like that, I don't believe, unless I'm going crazy. And then we will do defer.resolve res, just so we can decide what to do with that later. What this will do is it passes this object, and then once this resolves itself, res gets passed in through that promise, which is going to happen at the end. I'll show you guys how it works in a second. And if there is an error, function, this is definitely getting complicated, but whatever. Defer.reject. I believe that's it. And then this is going to take status and code, or you can call it error. I always just pass in the status though. Status. Okay. And we'll see how. We'll change that to popular. Is that equal popular? Popular. Yes. Okay, so right off the bat, right when this thing gets called, we're going to hit scope.get images. Okay, this is where the actual promise comes in. This promise object has a .then, which will call this callback function when it successfully resolves. And then, so we'll do success, and then it also takes another, it actually takes two more functions, but I never use the third. And this one is error, and this one also takes a status. So what we're going to do is just for shits and gigs, I'm going to do console.log res and images, and then we will change this. Log error status. Okay, that is the easiest way to do that. Let's see what happens. We're probably going to get some massive error, which is fun. Yeah, what does the error say? Console. Oh, that was nothing. Oh, no, we got it. It worked. Sweet. First try. All right, these are just the 404s for these images, which we're about to fix. Oh, crap. No, back into console. Okay, so let's take a look at this object. It's very simple. We can do pagination with it, so we can pass in another query for the page. Since this is only one, it's going to have 15 shots, and each one of those shots has a couple of different things. It has the description, the height of the base image, the image URL, and then I believe a smaller version of the image, and then it also has a player. So the player is one thing that we're really interested in. The avatar URL, which is an image for the avatar, which we'll put right there. And then the avatar name and where they are, I guess. Or we could do time. I'll probably just do their name and where they're from. Or their URL, sure. We'll do their username and their URL along with their image. So hopefully I'm not copywriting anybody here. We're just going to pull in some awesome stuff, and you guys will see their names, obviously. So we're good. Okay, so now that that's created, or now that we get that, you're sitting. Let's do. Let's comment that out really quick. Scope.imageList equals response. And then if this is the case, we're going to do scope.page error equals status. Okay, so really simple stuff. What we're going to do over here is item avatar, list card. Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is jump into data-ng-repeat equals image in image list. This HTML is all janky. HTML beautifier. Bam, done. Let's jump that over a little bit. Makes me happy. Bam. Okay, we are good. Let's go up to. So we're going to name this to so now you're going to be able to see why there's like a million dribble